everybody? My name is Kevin Dirksen. I will be your honors chemistry teacher this year. I am the only honors chemistry teacher this year. So that's an awesome thing for us because that way you know that everything that we do in honors chemistry is coming from me, and we can start to work together and build a relationship that will last throughout the entire year. Awesome. The point of this video is to give you guys the introduction material that you maybe would get on that first day of class, or like, here's how everything works. We do it through video, and to be honest with you, I've always done it through video. I have never sat in class and talked at my students for 45 minutes at the first beginning of the school year. It is boring, so we do it through video. So this is going to be boring. I'm sorry. It's the way it is. But I have good information that you need to know so you can be successful into my class, or in my class. So here we go. First of all, we're going to jump into the course itself. Everything we do this year will run through Schoology and Google Drive. Okay? You should have already received an email from me to your apps account that asks you to copy or link a folder called One Honors Chem Student Files to your drive. We'll be using that folder a lot, and I give you access to it because sometimes it's just faster to go right to the folder than it is to try to fish through Schoology. So if you have that hyperlinked into your own drive from Google, that way you can actually get there without having to need Schoology. Kind of cool. All right. This is what the course looks like right now. And we're going to be flexible all year because things can change and things will change as we go through and do our learning this year. First of all, I have things in place for both my hybrid learners and my distance learners to give you guys all a really great experience. So let's take a look at what we got going on. You're going to see 3 folders right now, and you go into the Schoology course. The general resources folder will be there the entire year. Okay. In here, you have some resources that we were required to put in by the powers that be at the district office, which are great resources for you for one-to-one type of stuff for your parents and for yourself. These 3 I put in. We have the syllabus, our essential learnings for the year, and then if you want to have access to the textbook, there is logging instructions. I do not use the textbook, okay? You will not be checking out a textbook for my class. The reason being is because over the past 20 years, I have been developing this course, and at this point, even before the hybrid model came out, I have all of my curriculum, all of my notes, all of my stuff embedded into Google folders and files for you and put to video. Okay, so we'll be heavily using stuff that's already been created. Plus, I'll be obviously adding a lot of new stuff this year because of the different model we're working on. Okay, I only tell you that is I want you to know that I'm not going in blind. Over the past 5 or 6 years, I have literally built a video like library of all of our content. So we'll be relying heavily on that, which also means at times for the year, you're going to see a very different Mr. Dirksen. I will have a beard. I will be heavier. I will be lighter. I will be younger. But the content will always be good. Okay? So you guys got to know that. Let's take a look at these folders. So we have this folder here. Biggest thing here is your syllabus. So this is going to be a lot of the nuts and bolts of how class is going to work here for you guys. We have a beginning of the year folder, which we're going to be tackling the 14th through the 16th. So yes, even if I don't see you until Thursday or Friday that first week, there are things I'm expecting you to do on Monday and Tuesday of that week. Okay? So there is going to be an expectation that school begins on Monday for everybody, whether or not I have physically seen you in class yet. Okay? Which is something you need to get through, kind of through your brains now, is that things are not going to wait until you see me in class to happen, okay? Our in-class time is going to be supplemental. It's going to be enrichment. It's going to have activities and assignments, and it's going to be a flow with our curriculum, but it is not the start and end point to everything that we do this year, okay? It is just one more day along your 5-day week of learning as we go through the school year. And then we'll jump into our first module and start actually learning content type of stuff at the end of that first week as we go through there and we begin our stuff right here. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to jump to the syllabus now because I think that's got some information in it that we need to see and how it works. And again, I'm running this course. This is a secondary account for mine. So what I am showing you here is exactly how it would work in a student view using the browser version of Schoology. I highly recommend you use the browser version of Schoology at all times. Okay, there are very few times where I feel that the app is better than the browser, but there are some times where the browser is better than the app inside of Schoology. Just my opinion. All right, so this is nice, but I'm going to kick it out instead because it's bigger if I do that, just by clicking on that little arrow there. And here's our syllabus. What I've done with the syllabus this year is I've taken the stuff that we have before, and anything you see in red is either new or updates that are based off of our hybrid model that we're working on right now. Okay. So what that can do for you is two things. One, you know what's new and different, and two, you also know, what was always been a standard in our class that's not new and different. So that's not new to us as we go through the year. Okay. First thing, my name, my email. This is something that I don't know how many teachers do this, but I've been doing this for a few years now. It was invaluable this past spring that students had access to my cell phone number. Okay, I had kids who were just called me up and said, "Mr. Dirksen, I'm struggling," and we had a conversation. Okay, because I don't get a chance to see you guys every single day throughout the week, this is going to become very important. Communicating with me, it's a new burden on you, and that you need to reach out through either email, Schoology messaging. You can text me, you can give me a phone call, and communicate with me. Without that communication, I get stuck on an island a lot of times, and I can't help you. Okay, it's much easier when I see my students 5 days a week. I can go like, okay, I'll talk to so and so tomorrow because they'll be back in my class less than 24 hours later. That's not the case. I'm not going to see you guys more than once a week officially. Okay, more through Zooms, more through asynchronous type of things, but this is going to be essential that you're comfortable communicating with me and initiating that communication. Okay, we have your goals, we have your expectations. You guys can read, you can do that on your own. Biggest thing here is engaging in this active learning piece. Okay, if you're a sit and get kind of kid, that's not going to fly well with me this year. I want you to be actively part of our learning process. In years past, we've done lab donations because it's very expensive to do all the activities and labs that we do in my class. Unfortunately, this year, a lot of that is heavily diminished. Okay, so one of the biggest drawbacks that I see going into this model is that with the safety protocols we have in place, and we do want to make sure we keep you guys safe first, the amount of lab time and hands-on collaborative labs and activities is going to be heavily reduced. Okay, I will still provide everything I can. It'll be more video-based, more demonstration-based, more you seeing me do it, either in person if you can or through video, and less you actually mixing the chemicals yourselves and doing the activities yourselves. Okay, there's not much we can do to get around that one until we are able to come into closer contact and do those kind of things. So that being said, we're not doing lab donations this year because I don't think I'm going to have those expenses this year. Be ready to use your mobile device daily with me. Usually our tests and quizzes were the only thing that we did paper pencil in my class in past. That will be shifted over to everything on iPads this year, either in class or at home. Okay, so be ready that you could be assessed in class and you could be taking assessments at home, and we'll talk more about those shortly. We are changing up how I weight my grades in the class because of the reduced amount of labs and activities. That category has kind of gone away. But what it has been replaced by is this system of our online tasks and assignments, our in-class, which is my cohorts A and B, or Zoom-related, my cohort C activities. Okay, so yes, even if you are a distance learner, my expectation is that you will be part of those Zoom meetings when we're scheduled, and there will be a graded thing that goes along with that. Okay, if you have to miss one for an obligation, again, we communicate and we'll figure it out. Okay. And then our module assessments. This year, I am going to run my class by module, okay, instead of by unit. The difference is module is a much cooler word to use. In reality, the difference is the modules are shorter, okay? So we might have 2 modules that will replace what would normally have been one big unit, okay? By breaking things down into smaller pieces, that's going to help our pacing. It's going to help our flow. It's also going to help me catch students who are struggling sooner because I won't see you every day. All right. Grading scale has been modified. It's the same as the spring. Once you drop below the C minus, we go to passes or that no credit. Keep in mind these are minimum percentages, And keep in mind that I do not give out incompletes, okay? Unless you have documented reason. So if you just didn't get your stuff done and you think at the end of the trimester, I'm just going to let that ride for the rest of the year, not going to happen, okay? If you have a documented reason, medical, mental health, whatever it happens to be, then yeah, we can do incompletes, but not just because you didn't get your work done. If you didn't get your work done, whatever grade you have is what you get, okay? Now, how do those modular assessments look, okay? Kids want to know what's a test look like, right? So I don't really like the word test because this is not going to be a 50-minute long typical test in my class. I definitely use the word assessment appropriately here because your assessment might be you creating a video and talking to me and submitting it. Your assessment might be you writing an answer to one question and submitting it, showing me your knowledge this year. It will look different than your typical test looked in years past, okay? Part of that is because if we do assessments at home, how do I know what learning is if I'm giving you multiple choice? Because anybody can look up and share answers for multiple choice, even if I make the most complex type of test. So my goal is to give you better assessments this year, okay? They will always be based on what I call the power targets for this year. We've always had learning targets in here. I'll show you those in a minute. But this year, this is a term from the district office, the power targets. We've reduced the number of targets we're covering. So we've reduced the amount of stuff we're covering. So that way we can cover the things that are most important in more detail. That's our plan. Okay. It could be at home assessments or it could be in class. Okay, so depending on the module, you might be taking an assessment at home or you might be doing it as part of your in-class session. Okay, obviously from our distance learning people, you will always be at home, but that doesn't mean you might not be asked to do that assessment during that 30-minute Zoom window that we have with this, or to do that following that 30-minute Zoom window at some point too. Okay, that I haven't worked out quite yet. It's part of my process. You should expect to have original assessments for your cohort. Okay, what that means is you can have a change in style, format, and length. Okay, don't expect just because cohort A got a certain type of test that cohort B is going to get the same type of test. Cohort A might have 3 essay questions. Cohort B might have 5 fill in the blanks and 2 essay questions. It is going to be different, but I will promise you this: every single assessment will assess the same targets. I'm assessing you for the same amount of learning and knowledge. But especially this year, you may not be getting the exact same test. Okay, that's especially true if I do an in-class assessment for cohorts A and B, and C takes it at home. Cohorts A and B, I have much more control over your resources than I do cohort C. So I will give you a different style of test accordingly. Okay. Expect less multiple choice and more open-ended questioning. Okay, being able to prove your knowledge to me either through talking to me through a video and sending it back, or handwriting it out through an assessment feature and submitting it to me. Okay. Please be ready to use honors chemistry level answers. All right. What I mean by that is just to restate the notes is not an honors chemistry level answer. What I mean by that is using your knowledge you learned to then draw conclusions and to create a good answer that uses the terminology from the unit, that links pieces of the unit together to give me a coherent answer is what I'm be looking for, that upper level type of knowledge stuff. Okay? If you don't get an assessment turned in on time, it's going to turn off, first of all. So you're not going to get full credit for that. I'll give you alternate assessments. That's not a problem. I'm going to have a variety of assessments this year. But I need some communication from you, okay? So if it just doesn't happen, it just goes in as a 0 until you talk to me about it, okay? So we'll make it work, though. But you got to communicate with me. That stuff doesn't apply anymore. Oh, yeah, I don't do extra credit. Sorry. No extra credit. Late work. Biggest thing is communication, guys. Especially this year when I only see you once a week. I got to know what's going on, okay? So if you can communicate with me, initiate communication, then I can help you. If you can't communicate with me, then I have to fall back on basic standards, basic rules of my class, which usually are the harshest scenario possible, okay? So please communicate roadblocks, disruptions in your life, things that's going to prevent you from training things on time. I will work with you, but I have to know what's going on, Okay. When you email me, when you talk to me, please be professional about it. Um, Say, hi, Mr. Dirksen. This is so and so. I'm in your second hour honors chemistry class. Here's what's happening to me. Not, hey, bro, can't get it to work. Like, that does me no good. Like, what is it? Who's the bro? That kind of stuff. I don't think he'll do that, but I've got those emails in the past few months of things not working. So we'll make it work. Let's see. How does it work for late work? I'm not going to give you full credit for late stuff unless you talk to me about it. Okay, so just be ready for that. How do I accept late work? I will accept late work until the end of the next module. What I mean by that is, let's say module 1, you forget to do one of the assignments. No big deal. You have all of module 2 to get that turned in for credit. Okay. Now, I'm not going to give you full credit for that. Okay. Um, if we communicate with each other and you talk to me why that was missing, I might give you full credit, but the standard is less than full credit unless there's communication. Okay. If you do not get something turned in during module 1, module 2 comes and goes, and we're now on to module 3. That assignment's done. It's gone. Okay. We're not going to play the game of catch up the entire trimester. One thing to be ready for: this is an honors level course. So we are going to hold you to a higher expectation in terms of completion of work and the amount of time you're going to spend on the course than you would for a non-honors AP level course. Okay, so be ready for that. If you have a class that's non-honors level, they may accept late work forever. We're not doing that in our honors level courses. Okay, at least I'm not doing that. Let's see here. I'll give you at least 50% of your earned credit when you turn that in. And if it's later on, it's definitely just my discretion and communication again. And I've already talked about communication, so I'm not going to say it again. Okay. Finals. I'd love to tell you how finals are going to work, but I haven't even been told how conferences are going to work yet this year. So, and I've asked if we have certain parameters on finals, and nobody can tell me. So for right now, hold off. I have no idea if the final will be cumulative, if it will just be a module test, if it'll be nothing. Okay. Sorry. Wish I could give you more. This stuff doesn't apply anymore. This is like absenteeism. It's more from the administration. They make me put it in here. And this is our main topics we've covered. Okay. So we're going to try to hit all these same topics. We may not go into as much depth this year, and we may have to remove a few to make sure the most important things are covered this year. It all depends on how we pace and how things work as we explore this new hybrid model. All right. That's the syllabus. You will definitely have a chance to ask questions about it at the end of this video.